What is happening, people? United Essentially back with another video. I'm with my guy Sammy. What's happening, man?
Good, man. How are you?
Not bad. I'm ecstatic at the minute.
Enjoying London?
I'm enjoying London lifestyle. Smile on my face.
You brought the Manchester weather to London.
You know what? I was coming down and I was thinking, what is going on? But you know what? I just was like, I was walking with stride because I thought, this is nothing. This like the good thing about it here though, you don't get the wind. Like, you know, in Manchester, poof, you feel it down the Old Trafford, the canals and all that, you know what I mean? It's a big ass spot.
Yeah, we had quite a lot of bad weather here.
Oh, yeah.
Thankfully, the result last night wasn't as bad as
well worth the storm, mate. You know what I mean? No pun intended. But, yeah, talk about last night, you know what I mean?
3 points.
3 points. Wasn't the prettiest. When I look back at it, maybe my emotions got the better of me. You know what I mean? I look back at it and I thought it was a complete performance. But you know what? Credit to the players. Now we have quality, Sam. We have the quality.
I sense that and I see that. I guess my initial disappointment was the team selection again.
Yeah.
I found I wasn't sure about the three centre backs. You know. I'm still not sure on the back five with two wing backs.
I think Shaw's good, but he doesn't really offer anything.
Exactly. Wan-Bissaka. You know, the funny thing is, I'll come to that, but let me just finish. So I guess my initial disappointment was formation and team selection.
Yeah.
So I would have started with Igalo. I know the guys just turned up, but
could have scored, by the way.
First touch.
Wow.
He should have scored actually.
His technique on the ball is actually quite impressive.
He's got good strength. I think will do well. But team selection for me, I wouldn't have started Daniel James.
Yeah, he looks, you know what?
Daniel James is the more games Daniel James plays,
the more he becomes.
The more he shows that he's actually a championship player. In fact, I think even he'd struggled in a lot of championship teams to play regularly as he played for Man United.
He's living a dream though.
He is.
Imagine that. But
it's ridiculous that Man United are having to play this way and play with players that are not actually up to scratch for the caliber of club that we are. So anyway, like I think for me he was probably the one like that I was like wondering why is he playing. I think everything else was fine. Fred, Matic, I think they hold things up solid.
Fred as well. What?
Fred was amazing. Bruno Fernandes, I thought. We didn't have enough of the ball to have him have impact in the game, but I think definitely you could see the guys on another level. The quality.
Could he have a bigger impact than Paul Pogba in terms of the way he plays?
I think they both have very different flair. So they're both very skillful players with different sorts of
qualities.
Flair. Bruno's a very direct, aggressive, houndy type of player. He knows how to find the pass. That's for sure. Pogba knows how to find the pass. I think Bruno also knows how to find the pass. I mean, the free kick that hit the post.
Yeah.
I mean, he tried. What I like about him is that he's not afraid.
Not shy.
He's not afraid to take shots. He's not afraid to find long-range passes. Yeah. You know, he loves the outside of the boot pass and the outside of the boot shot. That's one of his.
The pirouette. I call it the pirouette.
Pirouette. Okay. We're gonna be seeing a lot of that, and I noticed also the crowd were loving him.
Bruno.
Absolutely, man. Like when before he took that corner that Maguire scored on.
Oh yeah.
Like he was hyped. You know, I don't know what this stands for, but he was doing that. I think that was the signal that it's coming back post to Maguire and. Credit to Maguire now. He's finally going to get the service.
Beckenbauer, man, I tell it.
He's finally going to get the service, and I think we could get about between 5 to 10 goals from him.
Oh, of course.
Just from set plays with that kind of quality and delivery. We've never had that, for the last few months. So all of a sudden, I think you're going to see more goal threat from corners, more goal threat from free kicks.
Yeah.
Fred. To be honest, I don't think he's free kick quality. He hasn't been taking them. I don't know. Like we've been quite.
I've seen him training, but not in the game.
Yeah, I mean Rashford was always steps up for them, but you only get one style of free kick.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Bruno will give you a bit of both.
Yeah.
A bit of kind of power type free kicks. He'll give you, he'll try to curl it over the top as well. So I guess you're getting a bit of variety. Too. But generally speaking, I think
massive 3 points.
Massive 3 points. I don't think we played particularly well in the first half.
Yeah.
Second half much better. We seemed more composed and controlled. I think Chelsea were dangerous. I thought there was 1 or 2 chances they made the wrong decisions. They put the ball in the back twice. Unluckily for them, offside, and the push. Definitely push.
VAR to rescue.
No, absolutely. I think without VAR, both goals would probably have stood. So we always. I think people complain about VAR and how it doesn't work, but I think yesterday it worked pretty well.
Top 4 race back on there for you. You have to be consistent.
I don't want to be too encouraged by beating Chelsea. Let's be frank here. Chelsea haven't really played superb in the last few months. They started
Chelsea of old, is it?
They had a crap first game against us. They lost 4-0.
Yeah.
Then they went on a really good run and started performing, getting amazing results. But then they started to slip away, just like us, just like most of the teams in the kind of sort of 3rd to 10, P3 to P10 position on the league. It's just been ups and downs. Sheffield United up there and 5th place. So everything's kind of happening all at the same time. I think Frank Lampard's, I guess, suffering with a bit of, he's got injuries, which is one thing.
That's a crucial part of the season now coming up.
I think also they kind of just, there's a bit of, they're also going through their transition period. Let's not forget where they're at for the fact that they haven't had any players in. Well, they had Christian Pulisic in, who was a purchase from the previous season, transfer from the previous transfer period. But basically they've had no new players. So you can argue that they have a right to be as inconsistent as they are. Whereas and Frank Lampard being a new manager as well. Whereas Ole has less of those excuses because he's been for 1.5 seasons now. Well, it's into one full season. In December, from December to December, 12 months, and we're now into 2. So it's about 14 months into the job, right? I think top 4 is possibly back on. I like to be hopeful. Man United, after all. I keep saying, that's my famous line. We're Man United.
That's my famous line as well. Don't worry about that.
Let's not forget who we are. But I think such has been the results of the last few years that even the fans have lost confidence.
I think there's
our ability to kind of crack on and hold positions. One of the great things of the Sir Alex Ferguson teams was possibly they may have started inconsistently initially in the leagues that he played, that he managed. But definitely one thing was for sure. As soon as it came to December, United used to be another level. They used to go on like 10, 15 game runs.
I think that's we're looking at way ahead for that. I think you get 1-2, then you get another draw.
Whereas I don't think this Man United team has a 10 match. Proper streak where they can be unbeaten or they can not drop points. Whereas which puts so much into significance what Liverpool are doing. 25 games. What are we? Match 26. 26 games.
Something like that.
25 wins, 1 draw against us. So they will drop 2 points the whole season. That's near impossible.
So I looked at it. They got 76 points.
I mean, but listen. I think we've won leagues with 76 points in the past.
I think, 76, 81.
76 has won leagues in the past, so these guys are on fire. But
forget Liverpool, we're here to talk about United, and we are talking about the financial struggle, if you'd call it. Because I talk about financial struggle, and I say to yourself, you look at United, and we'll come up to the table and where United are in a minute in terms of financial and where they are. But before that, obviously everyone wants to know what has happened with this story, with the Saudis, because it all looked good, it looked amazing, it looked like they were tweeting, they had verified accounts, and we thought, could there be a possibility of the Glazers But yet again, what happens? It fizzles out, and they almost like, you know, you never hear from the so-called buyers, and they almost, I don't know what United do. I don't know if they suck out the media, you know, I don't know what they do, but they ensure that they're still there. And what's happened? Where the Saudis going? Like, have they lost interest?
No, they haven't lost interest. Let me tell you something about the Saudi culture and the Saudi interest in Manchester United.
Yeah.
There's a clear interest in the club. They are very sophisticated. They're very smart. They have the money. They're probably the only group of people in the world who could buy Manchester United, especially at the kind of valuations that the Glazers were originally looking for. But when you have that kind of money, you have lots of options with what you could spend that money on. Manchester United is a trophy asset to them, meaning it's such a special thing to own. It has so many other values beyond the financial value.
Yeah.
However, as sophisticated as the Saudis are, they are very they're very sophisticated as to how much they should pay for something. And the one thing I can say, knowing and having worked with a lot of Saudi people at that level, is they will never overpay.
Yeah.
And I think we spoke in the last time that the price that was being discussed was
$5 billion.
It's too much. Man United are not worth 5 billion, and we'll come on to valuation index shortly. But they would have discussed about a 3 billion level. But I think with the way things are going, the valuation level of Man United's dropping every single season.
Course.
Every single season we don't win a league. Every single season we don't qualify for Champions League. We are positioning on the Premier League table every time that drops, so it remains consistently at the position that it's in. It's eroding our value, because I think the one thing people don't actually understand about football and about power, I call it, the power index, really. The power index of Man United was built off the back of football success, right? Which Sir Alex Ferguson built brick by brick to the tower that it was when he left. And slowly but surely that tower is being completely and utterly broken down, brick by brick. It's the opposite's going on right now. So the thing that made us valuable was the fact that we consistently appeared in Champions League. Okay, the more times you appear in Champions League, you start to develop a ranking and an index for the media companies to pay out to pay out the TV rights and media. And
that's a big one, TV rights, in terms of
the biggest revenue of any company, of any football club, is the media money they make. So the largest chunk of money comes from from Sky, basically. That comes from the broadcasting Premier League games to the UK and also internationally, right? So this brings the largest chunk of money. That money goes up and down depending on your league ranking. So Man United in the last few years, their league ranking is probably fifth, maybe fourth average in the last 6-7 years.
About fifth, I reckon.
So I would say about fifth. We came out second in one, but every other time we were seventh,
second, but sixth. Sixth,
average
about fifth.
So average about fifth. That's now having a financial impact. The financial impact is that the share or the split of media revenue that Man United gets is much lower. So what you're going to see now, and the funny thing about it is that it actually works 1 year delayed, or 1 year in lag. What that means is last year's football results will affect this year's financials. This year's football results will affect next year's financials. So where we're at this year is that when Man United announce their full financial year-end results, they will have the impact of last year's poor performance. But last year we were in the Champions League, right?
But it should be,
So we were in the Champions League, but we got to, I think it was quarterfinals, right? So this year, Ed Woodward's fine, no issues, right? Next year, he's already preparing his statements for his excuses as to why the revenues are down. He's going to have to explain to the stock exchange shareholders in New York, because that's where United are listed, why revenues are down. But actually, those analysts already have that information, because they know United didn't qualify for Champions League.
Yeah.
Automatically, there's, 25 million pounds. I'm not sure exactly what the number is, but there's an automatic revenue that every team gets out of playing in the Champions League. Man United obviously weren't qualifying for it, so they're not getting it. Now, they do get a revenue for Europa, but it's much less.
No, so we're talking
It's
pennies.
a second tier league, right?
Yeah.
It's a second tier European competition. So definitely next year you're going to see a further erosion of the financial results of Man United.
What do you predict it to be?
The revenue?
Yeah.
I can't tell. I think the last time it was about, United has been always around the kind of, they've grown over the last years from 300 odd million, then they went to like 400 million. I think they close in on 500 million.
Yeah.
It's going to go backwards.
Yeah.
So they're going to have the lowest revenue from probably the last 6 or 7 years.
And it's not a good look for the people who want to invest in. I mean,
Oh, absolutely. But this is what I'm saying. This is where the Saudis come back into the picture, right? The value of a company is determined by its financial performance. Let's make no mistake. Manchester United is a football club to start with.
Yeah.
But it is run through a company. The company
through
value...
bankers, what I would know it says, bankers.
Bankers. The company's value is determined by its financial performance. The financial performance is driven by the football performance.
Yeah.
So this argument that we've been hearing, or this statement that we've been hearing, I think there was this one quote that Ed Woodward said, our commercial success will not be affected by... That is a complete and utter joke. It's a lie.
Yeah.
It's a lie. Football performance impacts
always
financial performance. Why?
So why is it trying to pull us over then?
Listen, you win the Premier League, you get prize money.
Oh, of course.
There's prize money for it. I think it's like 10 or 15 million pounds. That's on top of TV revenues. Then, of course, the better you're performing as a club, the more lucrative, the more high-profile Tier 1 brands you get looking to sponsor you, looking to be affiliated and to endorse.
Because you're the big thing now, you're on top of the world.
Oh, absolutely. So, listen, Man United got to its position as being being the top club in the world for value, for supporter base, because of the football we played, because of the continued and consistent success. I think there was a period of about 15 to 16 years where Sir Alex Ferguson had never finished any position lower than P2. Would either be in the champions or runners up of the Premier League.
Third, basically.
Yeah.
So third, realistically.
Yeah.
Third.
Yeah. We'd never been below P2, basically.
Never.
So we were never below second position. We either won the Premier League or we came out second. Now all of a sudden there's this new consistency of finishing outside of the top four. It's kind of like we can't guarantee we're going to be...
It's almost like a lottery ticket now.
It is a lottery ticket. And this is the concern that shareholders have for value. So to answer and complete the question as to the Saudi interest, what's going on right now in Man United actually works in their favour, because the Glazers can't sit there asking for 5 billion.
So the value goes down.
The value is decreasing.
Yeah.
Whereas other teams who are performing well, their value is increasing.
Yeah.
We're going to come to that just now. Their value is going up. So Man United can only rely on its previous legacy to a certain level.
I think, you know what, next 2 years, you reckon?
I think in a few years' time, that legacy will be gone and shot if we consistently finish outside the top four. Full stop, right?
That is very damning.
So the Saudis are basically waiting patiently in the background. I think we heard Prince Abdulaziz bin Turkey. Yeah. He's the chairman and president of the General Sports Authority. They run pretty much all of the sports investment, sports organization in Saudi Arabia. He's a young guy, late 30s, big football fan, loves the game.
Come and save us.
So Prince Turkey is someone I know and I know of, and I know he's a very smart guy as well. He's actually a racing driver.
Wow.
So he's into sports himself. And he said recently, a few months ago, actually it was just before the Anthony Joshua fight.
Yeah.
He mentioned that anything is possible. That is basically saying we're waiting.
Wow.
We're waiting.
Saudis are waiting.
They're waiting. The Saudis are waiting. I think they're waiting for the price to drop.
Are they waiting for a crash? Like a crash? A crash in terms of, Glazers just, they just see no value.
I think the Glazers are slowly but surely getting there. I think they're realizing that running a football club is not an easy thing.
No.
They're realizing the power of the fans. Let's not make any mistakes.
Social media,
fan power is really important. So if you feel a certain way about Manchester United, if you feel a certain way about the Glazers, about Ed Woodward,
so all this nonsense about fan cams and fan media interaction that they cause, destruct to football clubs. Listen, they will, that is a big.
Let me just again bring you back to the metrics of how things work. Okay, why do Man United get the amount of money they receive from the media companies? They get it because there's a high demand for spectators to want to watch the live games of Man United.
Yeah.
Right? So United gets a high value of revenue from its media sources because there are loads of spectators that want to watch Man United.
Of course.
So who drives that? The core driver of that is spectatorship. Fans drives spectatorship.
Even if you might just put in a hashtag MUFC, Manchester United.
Absolutely. So that is what drives the media revenues. It's what is the demand for watching Man United games, which is quite high. Man United fans across the world, in Saudi, in the Middle East, in the Far East, in China, Malaysia, Indonesia, South Africa, the US.
I had someone message me today. He was like, I want to come meet you guys. It's going to be my first game. It's coming all the way from Los Angeles. Every week
there's fans all over. So what I'm saying is, fan power is really important for Manchester United as a football club. The actual emotional and moral support we give the team, but also from a financial perspective, where actually we drive a lot of the financial metrics for the business, be it spectatorship, be it season tickets, be it buying club merchandise, a whole host of things.
Of course.
So let's not underrate our positioning as fans, as supporters of the club.
Yeah,
we play a very, very, very important role, and Man United claims to have the largest supporter base in the world. I think Man United themselves did a study. I don't know how independent or unbiased it is, but 600 million fans in the world. Right? We spoke about this, I think, in the last podcast.
Yeah.
So that 600 million fans gives them the opportunity to earn the revenues that they do.
Yeah.
So let's not forget that. Fan power is really, really important. And so, if we feel a certain way about the club, it really will have an impact.
Yeah.
I think reporters pick up on it. The analysts are tracking the share price of the New York Stock Exchange. They pick up on it. So all these things are having an impact in terms of the Glazers realizing that actually there's a problem when fans are not happy. Yeah. Fans are not happy with Ed Woodward. Fans are not happy with performances. Fans are not happy with the manager. Right? Fans are happy if they see if they see progress.
Yeah.
If they see the club doing things that are beneficial to the club. Right? So I think what a lot of people have been frustrated, I know you've been frustrated with, is you're not seeing a style of play.
Yeah.
Right? You're not seeing a style of play. You're not seeing the transfers you want to see, possibly. You're not
seeing quick enough. You don't see that.
Yeah, you're basically seeing what typically is called mismanagement.
Yeah.
Right? We're wasting money on silly things, giving players contracts when they shouldn't be given contracts.
A lot of people.
We're wasting money on overpaying for players in certain respects. Like Bruno's, we got him, but we could have had him in the summer. We didn't pay
for 35 million apparently.
I don't know about that, but the point I'm trying to make is Ed Woodward penny pinches, like he's penny wise, pound foolish, if you understand the saying. He kind of tries to save a few million here and there. I mean, Ashley Young was like, let the guy go. What did you...
1.5 million?
1.5 million. I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke. Let the guy go.
Only Ed Woodward would do that, though.
It's ridiculous. So it completely and utterly shows where the guy spends his time. He puts his efforts and energy into 1.5 million when he could have saved 20 million on Bruno Fernandes. And
now it's affecting, you know what, it's a remarkable table we've got here.
So another example was, again, I bring up Liverpool because, again, they are the polar opposite of how Man United are being run right now.
They're a structure club, like nobody says structure.
They bought Miniamo for 7.5 million. Our man Woodward didn't even know the guy had a release clause of 7.5 million. I spoke to a few agents about this and they were laughing. They laughed because
they did it quickly after so everything was very raw.
This is exactly how Ronaldo was bought. They went to play a game. They had a quick.
They didn't know the value, so they were thinking, "What? We want our player."
No, but you asked the question. You don't sit there making assumptions. Woodward's sitting in his office. I don't know how much he actually is day-to-day involved. I get the sense that he's got his fingers in everything. He's trying to control the whole company, the whole operation of Man United as a company. Finance, because he's a finance guy, marketing, commercial sponsorship, football. He's not delegating away from himself. This is the sense I get. I get the sense that he's trying to be a typical CEO of a company, trying to pull the strings on all the operations within.
But it's taken too much on.
Well, I don't want to make assumptions about what he's doing and what he's not doing, but it comes across that he's not got his eye on the detail for all the things that are important for the business.
So why not give it to a person who can do that?
That's a big question mark. I mean, that was a question from before Mourinho was sacked. This director of football position has been talked about for over a year now.
Today,
2 years, maybe.
Well, today was the news about a director of football. I forgot what his name is. Ralph Hulk or something?
I don't know what it is, but I don't even know who this guy is. But the point is,
well,
listen, taking on a job that you never have any previous experience on, the first thing you do is you say, I need to surround myself with the best people who know this industry, who know this business, and bring them in.
Cool.
That's what you do, right? He didn't do this. He was like, it's my chance to play live Football Manager, basically.
Of course.
Sitting there with an open checkbook, paying over the odds for Marwan Fellaini. That was the first transfer the man did.
And Antero Henrique is called.
Okay, what's his background?
And he's they're in advanced negotiation. This is advanced, set to become club's technical director. However, Ralph Rangnick is favoured by senior figures at United. So really, it's a bit of a no story, because they're saying that one person is in negotiation, but then they say that someone else preferred.
He's been having
Have you heard of this guy, Henrique?
No, I've never heard of him. Have you heard of him?
Nope. I've heard of the other guy.
Yeah. But his name sounds familiar.
Technical director, what is that?
What is a technical director?
You know what? I thought CEO was everything, and I thought CEO could be the solution. But if a CEO can't do nothing, what tells me a technical director can do anything?
Well, I think let's not get too caught up with the semantics of the word, because I think some clubs call their directors of football technical directors, but we don't know if this is a director of football position being called a technical director.
Yeah, true.
But the point is, the director of football is exactly what it says on the tin, a director of football, meaning they take care of football operations. Who is running football operations at Man United?
A banker.
I get the understanding that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is more of a head coach than he actually is
a manager.
Club
I would say that as well.
Because I don't get the feeling he is heavily involved or overly influential, significantly influential with transfers.
No.
What gives me that understanding is Bruno Fernandes. Like, first you interested in him, then you're not interested in him. You didn't get him, then you said you weren't interested in him, then you went in for him in the winter transfer window. Like, the confusion just makes me believe that clearly there's no leadership in the football side. And why there's no leadership is because Ed Woodward is supposedly filling in that role, but not doing it properly, right? So, as much as I'm all out from a management perspective as the manager of Man United, I haven't changed that. I do feel sorry for him because he's
I think he's out of his depth.
He's out of his depth from a management perspective, but that's beside the point. The point is, like, even as the manager of Man United, he isn't given the
tools,
the ammunition, the tools, the influence, the things that managers need. Now that will change if Pochettino comes in, right? If Pochettino comes in, he's not going to sit there he's not a puppet manager.
No,
he's an outspoken. He's a well-versed Premier League experienced manager,
and he'll want the structure in place before he comes in. And he don't want to come into a financial mess. He don't want to come into low budget. He's had that at Tottenham where he's had lack of budget. He wants United to be proper.
There's other clubs that are interested in him. I think Real Madrid could be in for him.
I think Barcelona going on at the minute.
Possibly.
I think they could get another manager. I think Man City, the way that's going on at the minute, and the financial problems not financial problems, but the ban that they've got, and we'll come back in a minute. But in terms of Man United right now, where are they in the standings in terms of, their current financial status?
So this is a question I quite enjoy analysing and looking at, because obviously from a finance background, from a business background, I like to look at those sorts of things, right?
Can you read too much into it, or do you think?
No, you can read a lot into it. I was at Deloitte, right, and I was part of a team that was.
Can you explain what Deloitte is?
So Deloitte's one of the largest companies in the world in finance, financial advisory, and consulting, and they're into lots of other things. But in the finance world, or in the accounting and finance world, they are like the number 2 company in the world. PwC are probably bigger than them. So basically, it would be playing for like the second best team in football if you were playing for Deloitte. And there's like 5 really big companies. In any case, Deloitte, for a number of years, have been doing something called the Deloitte Money League. So I was part of a team that used to be part of this Money League, and I used to, even if I wasn't part of it, I used to look at the work that they were doing. And basically, what they do is they take all of the financials as they become available, because the financials of all these football clubs are publicly available information because of the size of them. They take them and they pull out all the data, they aggregate all of the data from all the Premier League teams, the La Liga teams, the French teams, Portuguese teams, and after putting all of this information into like a table, they're able to come up with the index, the top 100 football teams, based on purely financial metrics. So this would be like revenue, mostly revenue. Actually, it's mostly on revenue. So that's called the Deloitte Money League. It's been going on for a long time. As I said, I was personally involved in it. I also have always taken an interest in it, even after leaving.
And that's why the media companies do take there's always a year where, they say, Man United have overtook Real Madrid. Real Madrid have overtook Man United.
Consistently,
top 3, I think we've been consistently.
We've always been in the top 3, floating between Barcelona and Real Madrid. And the thing that mostly swung that Money League report was, as I say, because it's
trophies
heavily. It's only financially driven.
It's
got it measures nothing else other than financial metrics. So the Money League focuses on revenues, right?
United do well in terms of
they've always been the highest grossing revenue company until La Liga changed their media rights, and where the clubs were able to negotiate their own media rights deals. So that's when clubs like Barcelona and Real Madrid came right up and started to overtake Man United. Okay, so that's Deloitte Money League. But the analysis that came out, the index that came out last week or 2 weeks ago was basically the finance index for clubs. Okay, the Football Finance 100 rankings.
I will put this on a screen as
So basically, and this is really disappointing and very disheartening for someone who's always seen Manchester United in the top 3. Remember, top 3, right? Yeah. And when I say top 3, we were, I would say, 80% of the time number 1 on that league, the Deloitte Money League. But looking at the Football Finance 100, okay, the first thing I guess we need to talk about with this is that it looks at more than just revenue. Yeah. It looks at more than just the money the club makes. Yeah. It looks at the balance sheet, basically, of the club. And the balance sheet of the club basically has all of the player contract values. Yeah. It has the debt that the club has if it does have any debt.
How about 300 million?
It looks at no, we've got more. I'll tell you now. Wow. It looks at this financial football the Football Finance 100 rankings looks at the value of the players we have. So the playing squad. Yeah. Okay. It looks at the tangible assets. The tangible assets being
people that can be sold on.
No. Tangible assets being like football stadium.
Oh, okay.
Physical things that we have.
Oh, okay.
So the football stadium, any other things that we own that are physical, computers, like other hardware. Yeah. Those are smaller things. I'm talking about the big assets. So all of these things are on the balance sheet of Manchester United. Yeah. So that's the tangible assets. It looks at the amount of cash that the club has in its bank account at the time when of its financial year end, and then it looks at the owner's potential investment in the club, right? And then it also looks at the debt or the leverage in the club. So it looks at about 5 different indices or 5 different metrics from the balance sheets of this club: players' value, tangible assets, cash in the bank, the potential owner's investment in the club, and the net debt. Net debt is basically the amount of borrowings the club has made versus the amount of outgoing borrowings. So it's the difference between your loan obligations and your loan debtors, basically. All right. Man United, please wait for it. They are 16th on this league.
Wow.
16th.
16,
right? That is what you call an epic fall from grace. If this Football Finance rankings were done, I would say 7 years ago, would probably be number 1 or at least in the top 5.
How damning is that?
It's a disaster from a financial perspective.
Wow.
Right? And this isn't.
Who's ahead of us, by the way?
Who's ahead of you? Do you want to go through that?
We'll have to. You know what I mean?
Okay, so
it can't be anyone bigger. Well, you know what? We're the biggest club. You think about it. It's a disgrace anyway because we are the biggest club in the world, and I believe that again and again. I think Real Madrid.
Well, you're not going to like when I tell you that Manchester City are the number 1 club on this Football Finance Index.
Wow.
Right. So
we were being. We don't know if it's by legal terms.
We were being teased last night that Manchester's blue by the Chelsea fans. I don't know if you heard them singing that chant. Right. It's one of their famous. Like Manchester's blue, just like us, Manchester's blue, right?
And then when they go to United, when the City guys say, "Your City's red."
Manchester City have really, Manchester City. I've been analysing these things for a while. They've never featured in the top 10 of anything, right?
Yeah,
they are.
Was that before when everything came out? Obviously, they still are now. But will everyone look at that and think, you know what? Have they done it through transparency and morals?
Yes, so let's caveat this, right?
Okay.
This finance rankings report came out probably 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
so well before the UEFA financial fair play, which we'll go on to.
We'll go on to that, yeah.
But in any case, this the one thing we should know that this isn't subjective. This report is not subjective.
Okay.
This report is completely factual. It comes from the financial statements of all these football clubs. And what it does is it looks at it statistically, those 5 metrics, and it gives a ranking score, okay? An FPI score.
Yeah.
And the FPI score basically puts them up or down on this ranking. So I'll just quickly read it out, but you could see it on the screen. Manchester City are there, Paris Saint-Germain, as you can imagine. PSG are right up there, number 2.
Qatariolas.
Bayern Munich are there. Tottenham.
Munich, I did
Spurs. Believe it or not, Spurs are number 4 on the list.
What?
Number 4.
After stadium and everything?
Arsenal are higher than us. Arsenal are higher than us.
Wow.
Number 5. Arsenal are number 5. Real Madrid number 6.
Real Madrid 6.
Barcelona number 7. Manchester United
as I said, 16.
Yeah, 16 basically.
Wow.
16.
Wow.
Right? Hold on. Let me just make sure that I'm looking at the right 20. Hold on a sec.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's the 29. There you go. So can you, like, these names
that's crazy
on the list?
That is absolutely...
No, sorry. This is the one what we went through was actually 2019.
Oh, the year before.
So let me correct myself, okay?
So have they improved?
Number 1. No, actually, so it was last year they were 5th on the rankings.
5th.
Not 5th, I think. 8th. They were 8th in the rankings. This year, 16th.
So unless it's still this, but we've got worse.
So sorry, it wasn't Manchester City that was number 1. I'll just correct myself. PSG were number 1 this year. 2020 Football Finance rankings. PSG number 1. Manchester City number 2. They've dropped a bit. Bayern Munich number 3. Tottenham Hotspur number 4. Real Madrid number 5. Arsenal 6th. Chelsea 7th. Liverpool 8th. Juventus 9. Borussia Dortmund 10. Right?
Wow.
We're not even in the top 10. Now, one of the key drivers of that is obviously the value of the playing squad.
Yeah.
The value of the playing squad and the value... I guess the two biggest things that make a really big impact on this is the value of the playing squad and the value of the owner's potential investment. Yeah. Those are probably the two largest metrics that create the deviations.
Yeah.
Net debt is also a big one. So if I just look at Man United's metrics, because we're speaking about Man United... Our playing squad is worth 753 million. Okay?
Yeah.
That 753 million is less than Barcelona, naturally. It's less than Atletico Madrid's team. It's less than Juve's team. It's less than Liverpool's team. It's less than Chelsea's team. Just slightly over Arsenal. Less than Real Madrid, less than Spurs, less than Bayern Munich, less than Man City.
It just goes to show, you know.
So what this is doing is it's basically valuing the players. It's valuing the players. It's saying if you took all our players and looked at the potential
the current market
value, in the current market, what would we get? I think of our playing squad, our most valuable assets probably Paul Pogba. That's
easy
it.
By a mile.
Second would probably be David De Gea, but I think his stocks dropped.
Yeah.
So there's a
whole
lot of
what
things.
you signed him doesn't necessarily mean that he'd be. Say Harry Maguire wouldn't be worth 80 million.
No.
And what does that tell you about the club then? You know, in terms of they valued Harry Maguire at 80 million.
Yeah, I think
but it comes his level is not 100 million, is it though?
It comes back down to it comes back to not having the right people doing the right jobs. It comes back to the naivety that we had.
Yeah.
It comes back to just being, I guess, part of that nuance is driven by the fact that we were the biggest club for a long time. Everyone knows we've got the money. We were always on the number 1, as I said, on the financial indices. So people know we've got the money, right? But that's going to change very soon, and that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about...
What, you worried about the financial fair play?
No, not financial. I think we will. Man United never will have an issue with financial.
Because of the fact that they will always.
We're always making enough revenue to support
the facts.
To support our Man United makes a profit every single year. Let's not kid ourselves. Yeah. The issue I have is that as Man United's financial positioning declines over the next years, resulting from poor football performances. Poor football performances are coming outside of the top 4, right? Prize money is lower in the Premier League. Not winning cup competitions. Not getting into Champions League consistently. Yeah. All these factors...
And it could happen though.
Have a ripple effect which will cause Man United to have a reduced financial position all around. we'll drop down the indices, our cash positions will go down, we'll have lower asset values, we will struggle to attract players because we're not playing in premier competitions.
Pogba leaves next summer.
Yeah.
We potentially we could go down that table because we won't sign a player of his valuable asset.
You know,
or can it go up like a football index?
No, so like a football index, like our players will go up. If Bruno Fernandes turns out to be a superstar, right, he could become £100 million player. We've paid 60 for him.
Yeah.
So Wan-Bissaka could become a super hero and be worth 100 million. So the good thing, I guess, for Man United, the only positive and good thing that we have is that the potential that we have for young players becoming superstars is there.
Yeah.
If we had loads of like older peak players, like let's not kid ourselves, like Jesse Lingard, he's never gonna have a value. We'd have to sell Jesse Lingard for like 20 million.
I think you can,
or even less, maybe.
I think because he's British, he would get 20 million.
Yeah, who's gonna buy him for any more than that? Who's ever gonna buy Jesse Lingard for?
Well, Liverpool could do that. Well, Liverpool have done that with Solanke, 20 million. But maybe that because it's emergent.
But Liverpool now in that position where they can dictate the prices they pay for players. They can dictate which players come to them. Players will be desperate to play for them, so players will take lower salaries. Players will force their clubs to sell them to Liverpool. This is where we're at now. Yeah. We were in that position a few years ago, and so unfortunately, this is the slow and steady decline of Man United as a footballing entity is having the ripple effect on Man United, the business and the company. So the more this happens, the more we will struggle to come out of this thing. It takes a while to get out of this thing. You know, Liverpool took a slow and sustained period to get out of this position. Okay, 30 years is a long time not to win a league. But I'm talking like from after Brendan Rodgers, took a few years before they got it right. So I think to summarize, I think we're on very shaky ground with ourselves financially, and definitely the only thing that will pick that up is if we get good football performances. If we consistently consistently coming up to Champions League.
We cannot guarantee that though every year.
No, we can't.
I would say under this manager, yes, maybe not. But even with that, you've got Chelsea, you've got Leicester.
My question is, are we able to win the Champions League even if we don't win league? And Liverpool have done that twice. Maybe have they? Yeah, twice in the last few years, right? Yeah. So Liverpool have won the Champions League twice.
They went to the final and then they won it. They went to the final the year before.
But they won twice. I'm talking about 2005.
2005.
So I'm talking like in the period that they haven't won leagues, they've won 2 Champions Leagues.
That's quite good.
Does United have the potential to win the Champions League when they're not winning exactly? So yeah, it's. I don't want to harp on about this point, but I think the football performances have to start getting better. Yeah. And I think that can only start with a structural change in the company, in the business, in the football club, which will result in, you know.
You know what? That's what Norrie says every day. He goes, nothing will change of the structure of the football club.
So I'm Ole out, not because I don't dislike the guy, right? I'm Ole out because he's not the right person to be building the club up with. Yeah. He just doesn't have the credibility to do that, right? No. He's also got some big thing going on in the background in Norway. I don't know if you've seen that story again.
Well,
let's not even go there. But point is, like, we need to get a proper caliber manager with great potential. We don't need to go and get Jose Mourinho type anymore. I think you can get one of those up and coming.
The days are gone for that. Yeah, you could get the guy from Ajax,
Ten Hag. We could get Pochettino. Like, there's a lot of those up and coming managers that. Yeah. Those are the managers to build on. Those are the managers to put your money on, to say, look, at least you know you're going to get something out of them in terms of system, structure, style of play. I think just to sum up that point. We're in a precarious position. I think it's now or never with Man United. Yeah. I think the longer we leave this to go and carry on the way it is, the more difficult it will be to get out of it. But I guess what is bad about it is also good, because as we decline, our value will go down and the Saudis will swoop.
Poof.
Right? So
it could be happening then. Could be happening.
Hopefully there's a silver lining at the end of this very, very dark cloud.
Well,
but
you talk about dark cloud.
I think the Glazers will get to a point where they realize, hands up, they've completely messed this up. They will want to cash out. Okay? Before it gets so bad that Man United get relegated, which God forbid it doesn't happen, but who knows? We could have one terrible season, something goes wrong.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, we're in dire positions. We're never going to get relegated. That was a joke. But the point being, we could get so bad, consistently bad, that they were like, their positioning could be, now's the time to cash out.
You talk about, horizon. One good that's come out from everything is United still have a chance at Champions League football this season through. We're
like the cat with 9 lives this year.
Cat with 9 lives. I said Ashley Young had 9 lives, you know what I mean? But I think United have 9 lives. And what has come out in the last week, and we don't want to talk too much of this, but Man City, and I don't know if it's a mess because I see them all smiling and training, and something just tells me that they still have a plan to overcome everything. But what has happened really? If just to tell people that really didn't know what has happened and how they've been banned from the Champions League, what really has happened to get to that stage? I mean, there's been that leak, but has it been more than that?
No. So everyone knows, or for those who don't know, financial fair play simply. Gary Neville was actually speaking about this yesterday.
And he kind of bought the question, didn't he?
We
watched it before the game, weren't we?
He went technical on it, but just simply to explain what it is, it's basically UEFA have come up with a very strict rule about how clubs conduct themselves financially.
Yeah.
And the summary of it is that clubs are not allowed to spend more than
what they bring in,
than they make organically, right? Organically, meaning they have to, clubs earn money, as we spoke earlier about, through media, through ticket sales, through merchandise, through sponsorships and all kinds of commercial activity, right?
Yeah.
So all of this gives rise to their income, their revenue. Then, of course, they have expenses and costs, right? Their biggest cost, the biggest cost on a club's income statement is actually their payroll, right? Comes from mostly players' wages, right? So when the costs are greater than the revenue the club is making, okay, then FIFA have a serious issue with this.
Of course.
They have an issue with this because what it's doing is it's putting the club at risk. It's putting the club at risk from going bankrupt. Now, we've had a lot of those situations in the UK. Like Rangers had that problem. I think Portsmouth had that issue. Quite a few clubs have had that issue, right? So a lot of clubs are going bust. Financially, they just can't make it. So FFP is there to protect the interests of the league. Because imagine if 3 or 4 clubs just go insolvent. They go bust. You're going to have disruption, right? And it messes up the whole thing. So UEFA put this ruling in place that prevents clubs from living beyond their means. I'm using an expression here, but clubs spending beyond what they can actually afford. Now, this is easy to apply in a system where the clubs are owned by normal investors, by groups of people, because they don't have unlimited sums of money.
Yeah.
But fast forward to the oil money that's come into football. In the case of PSG, in the case of Man City, these owners have so much of money that when Roman Abramovich was actually one of the first proper billionaires to come in, where it was publicized. I mean, clubs have always been owned by very wealthy people. But when I'm talking about high profile billionaire coming in with lots of money, pumping in lots of cash, Chelsea were probably one of those big teams in the Premier League where this started to happen. So where we're at is Man City have been found to have incorrectly disclosed information which shows that it complied with financial fair play. So what that means is basically clubs have to submit every year a compliance document or statement which shows their revenue generated and the sources of that revenue.
And they don't really create a big revenue, do they?
No, of course not.
They don't get shirt sales. They don't really get in terms of TV deals. They don't have a mass audience.
Well, it's coming up.
But
their media revenues are completely coming up now because, of course, Man City is a power to be reckoned with.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And the thing that's obviously changed that for them was when they won their first Premier League.
Yeah.
That's really, really impacted their revenues.
But on a global scale, they're not as big as United.
On a global scale, no, of course not. They don't get as big commercial contracts.
Yeah.
When I say commercial contracts, I'm talking arm's length commercial contracts.
Yeah.
With commercial contracts to unrelated.
Like Lego. They wouldn't ever get a Lego, would they?
No.
A mattress. A coffee,
they'd never get like well, they'll get big. They do get commercial deals.
They've got tire companies and all that, but they haven't got like a United would come up with I don't know, a chopstick company.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. But this is the point. Like, because of the reach, it's all about how many fans you have. Like, brands will affiliate themselves with you because they believe that when your game is being watched on TV, everyone sees Man United and they get the exposure from it. But the point with City is when City's owner Sheikh Mansour came into the picture, he basically pumped in a lot of cash. There was no way to get a kickstart situation and improving the club without buying expensive players.
Yeah.
Sergio Aguero, Vincent Kompany, David Silva, Robinho. Remember, this is where they started, right? Then it wasn't just players; they also got expensive managers.
Yeah.
Roberto Mancini, Emmanuel Pellegrini. They've gone through these phases of spending a lot of money to get themselves up to a certain level.
Of course.
The problem with spending a lot of money is that they're not making enough to support that level of spending, right? So what did they do? Sheikh Mansour basically is from the royal family of Abu Dhabi, right? He belongs to he's the brother of the Prime Minister of Abu Dhabi, the ruler of Abu Dhabi. Sheikh Mansour is the brother of the ruler of Abu Dhabi. He has all this money. Abu Dhabi also owns a whole load of investments into different things, all types of companies, one of them being Etihad.
Yeah.
So, what did they do when they took over? They changed the name of the stadium to Etihad. What was it called before that? City, it was called City, what was it called? It was just called the City Stadium or something.
City Stadium, I think it was called, yeah.
Before that was Main Road. Then they moved into the main, the Manchester City Stadium, right?
I think it was.
So anyway, now it's called the Etihad.
Etihad, yeah.
So clubs get paid for naming rights, right? So Atletico Madrid have Wanda Metropolitano.
Yeah, Wanda.
Wanda is a massive Chinese company. They pay for naming rights.
Yeah.
So what Man City did was they put Etihad on their stadium. They call it the Etihad Stadium, and Etihad pays them for that exposure, right? So that's one revenue stream commercially that they never had before. Remember, they were called Main Road. No one was ever going to pay them to name their stadium.
No.
Who would do it? The owner, right? So the owner's paid now for the naming rights of then. Who's their shirt sponsor?
It's
Etihad, isn't it?
Oh, Etihad, yeah.
Or is it Emirates?
No, I think it's Etihad.
It's Etihad. So
then they have a badge.
But that's small. The shirt sleeve sponsor is small.
Yeah.
So my point being is that they are getting all of these additional revenues for sponsorships and commercial deals
to balance the books
from related parties. What this means is people connected directly to the club.
And that's not really
right. It's not real money.
No,
right? Because because when you're doing a deal with your brother, you can play up the value of something based on the two of you agreeing. Because you're part of this. Whereas me going to Chevrolet for Manchester United and
you have to compromise as well.
Chevrolet are not going to pay us 50 million more.
They're not.
Whereas this is what Man City did. They saw that they were in trouble with how much they were spending. So Sheikh Mansour said, okay, well then just push the value of our commercial revenue up from Etihad. Right? And that's what they did. So they overstated their commercial revenues. Okay? And that's the problem that UEFA have with them. The problem wasn't that they overstated it. The problem was when they put it forward, it was found that it was fine, right? there was a suspicion. UEFA then dropped the case. And if I understand correctly, they were Man City had, when there was the Football League's hack, I think their emails and all that was, and their servers were hacked.
Yeah.
And all very confidential emails and documents were found. And this information, I think, was passed on to UEFA. With this kind of information, UEFA were able to clearly see that Man City have been having discussions internally about the fact that they needed more commercial revenue to make their revenues equate to or be larger than their expenses.
Of course.
Why did they have loads of expense? Because they're buying expensive players. Right? And they have to pay their players lots of wages.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that they were trying to balance, basically.
Yeah.
So UEFA's obviously found this out, and they've said, Man City, it's clear that you never really had organic, unrelated party, unbiased revenue from third-party sponsorships or other to support the expenses that you're...
Can they get out of it then? Two-year ban, can they get out of it?
I would say it's 50-50. I think they've had Man City, if you remember correctly, they've had a transfer ban previously that was went to the Council of Arbitration of Sports. So that's where they're taking this case to now, right?
Yeah.
So remember, UEFA is an independent body.
Yeah, and the Council of Arbitration deal with every sport.
So Council of Arbitration of Sport, CAS, they call them. They're a proper court for sports related.
Yeah, and they all see both sides of the story.
Correct. Whereas UEFA are the governing body of European football. So
is it one appeal process? Just one?
Or no, that's one. This is one. It's one time basically.
Wow. So City apparently got 13 lawyers.
Hold on.
There won't be like a Supreme Court, will there? I don't think there'll be a Supreme.
No. This is it. So the appeal process, I think in the contract, so every club has a contract with UEFA. When you play Champions League or Europa League, you are basically affiliated to UEFA.
Of course.
Because you're taking part in their competition.
Of course.
As part of that, you have to fulfill their rules and regulations.
Yeah.
City have obviously been found to have broken those rules and regulations and hence been penalized and fined.
Yeah.
This penalty is 2 years ban, plus I think it's a €50 million fine.
Wow, yeah.
50 million
deductive
euro
points, you don't see that happening? Deductive points in the Premier League?
So hold on. So there's a conversation going on, because remember, the FA, the Football Association, the Premier League are also connected to UEFA, right? Everything feeds into the mothership. Remember, UEFA feeds into FIFA.
Yeah, of course.
FIFA are the ultimate global governing body for football. So there's discussion that because the FA and Premier League have to fulfill certain criteria to UEFA, that actually Man City have also been in breach of Premier League or the FA rules on financial fair play. So this could have a ripple effect.
Wow.
There is a possibility, I know they're talking about it, that they could be docked points for...
I don't see that happening.
It's hard to say. I think the FA and the Premier League are probably waiting to see what goes on with this court case now with CAS. They'll probably hold back on any judgment. They'll probably start to do their own. They'll probably try to start to do their own investigations. Try to get access to information that UEFA may have used. But the point being is, I think it's really 50-50.
Yeah.
The UEFA have the right to admit any club into its competition.
Of course.
Okay. They would not have put such a severe penalty had they not had the evidence to support such a penalty.
Yeah.
So the only question for City is whether or not they can argue at the Council of Arbitration for Sport whether the evidence used was obtained in a
admissible
in a way that was not normal. Okay?
Yeah.
So the question is whether UEFA
obtained questions.
Yeah.
You know.
No, nothing to do with questioning. It's a case of whether. So if I steal something and I give it to you and you use this as evidence,
okay,
it came from a source that
is
legitimate. Whereas if I gave you something that's public information, it's legitimate information. I can use it to make a judgment.
Yeah.
So the question is whether the evidence they used was admissible in court, meaning can it be used in court?
So, that is the question. But
so for me, I think it's.
I I think it's good news.
It's 50-50. I think it's good news. It brings up a 5th place positioning.
5th place for the bottle jobs, eh?
Yeah. Well, we shouldn't be relying on 5th place to make Champions League. You know, we should be really going in for.
Well, that's the question. Sammy,
Saeed,
it's been a pleasure, honestly. It's been a very, very intriguing chat in this podcast. Financial breakdown. We're at United at the minute in terms of how we are doing financially. And judging by what you said, Sammy, I don't know, mate. It doesn't look good reading, and it looks going to be getting worse and worse.
Yeah, I think to finalise and just to conclude what everything I've said, I think I don't mean to bring doom and gloom onto.
But it's the reality, though.
But it's a reality. The facts are there. I think a lot of supporters and fans never go that deep into looking into the finances of our club. You know, we may also be wondering why Manchester United basically. Haven't spent money in transfers.
Yeah,
this could be a reason.
Yeah.
That our financial position isn't really good, so it has an impact.
Of course.
So I think it's important information for people to understand and know how the club works, how we're performing, not just on the pitch, but as a business, as a company.
Sure.
Because all of these things make us the power and the force that we are as a club. So yeah, I think hopefully that was insightful.
Yeah, I was very, very intriguing, and it's a damn kind of a insight into what United are at the minute, but also a reality check of where we should be, and you're talking like 16th place. Yeah, but we go again, and yeah, it's been a pleasure, Sammy. And we'll see you guys soon. This podcast was brought to you by the One Football app. Make sure you download it in the description below. It'll be right there somewhere. Download it. Latest football. You got it, Sammy?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely. And don't forget to subscribe to this guy, man.
That's it, man.
He needs all the love and all the support.
That's it, man. That's it. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and yeah, I'll see you maybe tomorrow in Bruges. This will be out on Thursday, guys, but I'll see you soon. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.